Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome to the parent meeting. This is for the Mathema 2021 to 22 session. So thank you for coming. And so who are we? So before we get started, we have to introduce ourselves. So our main purpose at Mathema is to make competitive math more accessible to students by teaching them important concepts and problem-solving skills that are on the AMC and Math Counts exam. And it is taught by people, by alumni from Math Counts and AMC. So my name is Ashani.
Hi, I'm Yolanda.
And my name is Amy, and I'm really excited to get this year's session started.
So we will be moving on to Yolanda, who will be talking about class schedule and structure.
All right, so this is going to be a free course that's going to cover topics frequently found on competitive math exams, such as Math Counts. And you should keep in mind that this is going to be a course geared for an introductory to intermediate level of difficulty. So if you've never done competition math before or want to improve, this will be just right for you. But if you're already very experienced, you can still benefit, although a lot of the course may be a review for you. We're going to have two classes in our course that are grouped by grade level. And so if your child feels that their class is too hard or too easy, they can be asked to be moved up or down. So for example, 5th or 6th graders might be in class 1. And so they can ask to be moved up, and we will move them up, especially if their homework scores are very good. This course is going to run from August 22nd to January 30th, and classes will be from 3 to 4:30 p.m. on Sundays. We're not going to be having class on December 26th or January 2nd as a holiday break.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the class structure and what we're going to be teaching throughout this class. So as Yolanda mentioned, students are going to be divided into two classes based on their grade level, even though they can move up or down if they realize that the class is too easy or too hard for them. However, both of these classes will be covering the same topics, but the higher class will be covering more difficult problems and probably may also be covering the topic into more depth and maybe looking at more applications. For the first half of this session, which are the weeks are in this image, these are the weeks that are marked in yellow. For the first half of the session, we'll mostly be covering topics that are like geometry based. So for example, two of our larger topics are triangles and circles. For the second half of the session, which is marked in the blue weeks, we're going to be covering more algebra based topics. Our biggest ones are probably quadratics, because those are pretty important topics that come up a lot on these types of exams and competitions. So after each class, we're going to be giving out homework, and the purpose of the homework is to help students, it's to help reinforce this content that we're teaching to kids, and also just to help them see more applications and be able to actually use these topics even outside of the class. And so, yeah, that's essentially what we're going to be teaching in this class. And if you want, we're going to be sending out the slideshow after class, so you can take a closer look at this. Yeah.
And just to add on to what Amy said, we will also be posting the slides in the Google Classroom. So please make sure you have joined that from the email that your student has put as their own. So class expectations. So our expectations are that students should be actively participating in class and doing the homework before class. And this and actively participating includes answering problems and asking questions, which can be done via the chat or unmuting. So the reason we expect kids to do the homework before class is because we will be covering the homework during class, and it won't help if kids are doing the homework after the class, because they won't be able to ask any questions that they might have. And then our second expectation is that students should be attending every class, and they should inform us in advance if they're unable to attend. So they should use the Google Classroom or email us at mathemaofficial@gmail.com if they are expected, if they expect to be unable to attend. And finally, they should be expected to be challenged, and there will be concepts that are hard to understand or grasp at first. And this is why it's important to ask questions during the class so we can address anything that students have as concerns during the class. So before we talk about questions, before we answer any questions, there are important links that are on this slide. So the website for general info and resources, the YouTube, the link to our YouTube for previous class recordings if you wish to see them, and then social media for updates, and our email for specifics and contact. So does anybody have any questions? So we will be giving you guys a little bit of time to ask them in the chat. And if you have a question or that pertains only to you, like you're going to be missing a few classes or something like that, or you're unable to join the Google Classroom, feel free to ask them after we stop recording. So right now, I don't see any questions in the chat. So I am assuming that means people do not have it. Okay, so we'll use this meeting code for every meeting. No, actually the Zoom link for each class is in the Google Classroom, or it will be posted in the Google Classroom. So the meeting link that will be used will be in the Google Classroom, which is why it's important for you to join that. So this meeting link will not be used for anything else Mathema related. Okay, are there any other questions? And if it's easier for you, feel free to raise your hand feel free to raise your hand or just unmute and ask a question. Okay, so another question is, would we be registering for math counts and AMC by ourselves, or will there be guidance provided by us? So we are just here to help teach kids about the concept used in math counts and AMC. Registering for math counts and AMC should be done through the school or other academic organizations like Kumon or RSM or other schools. So math counts, your math teacher will probably give you more information, and same with AMC. However, AMC information for elementary schoolers will usually not be given, and you will have to access that on your own. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, so far I do not see any other questions in the chat, so that means you all are free to leave. So I will stop the recording.